If you want your penis to function at full capacity for the rest of your life, then you need to pay very close attention to everything I'm about to share with you in this video. I am Dr. Julia Rhodes, a men's sex therapist with over a decade of experience working with different couples and helping men regain their sexual health and strength back. Throughout my career, I have sat across from hundreds of men who were frustrated, confused, and frankly embarrassed about what was happening with their bodies. Men who had no idea that simple, everyday habits were quietly destroying their sexual health from the inside out. Before we dive in, I want to ask you something important. If you are serious about protecting your sexual health, your confidence, and your relationship, then do not just watch this video and scroll away. Subscribe to this channel right now, turn on your notifications, and share this with a man in your life who needs to hear this. The information I am sharing today has the power to change lives, and I mean that sincerely. Every single week, I put out content designed to help men take back control of their health, and I do not want you to miss a single thing. Now, let us get into it. Number 1, track your morning erections because they are your body's built-in check engine light. Here is something most men do not realize. Every single night while you are asleep, your body automatically triggers between 3 and 5 erections, each lasting roughly 20 to 30 minutes. This has absolutely nothing to do with sexual dreams or arousal. This is your body doing maintenance work. Your penis contains spongy erectile tissue that requires a regular supply of fresh, oxygenated blood to stay healthy and functional. These nighttime erections are what keep that tissue elastic, prevent scar tissue from developing, and ensure that everything continues to work the way it should. So here is why this matters enormously. If you stop experiencing morning erections, that is your body raising a red flag. This is actually one of the key diagnostic tools I use in my practice when working with men who come to me struggling with erectile difficulties. Let me be very clear about the distinction. If you are having trouble getting or maintaining an erection with your partner, but you are still waking up with strong morning erections, the issue is most likely psychological. We are talking about stress, anxiety, performance pressure, or relationship tension. Your body's plumbing works perfectly fine. However, if your morning erections have been absent for several weeks or even months, that points to something physical. It could be a blood flow problem, a hormonal imbalance, a neurological issue, or early signs of cardiovascular disease. The statistics on this are sobering. Research shows that up to 75% of erectile dysfunction cases are rooted in a physical cause. It is not just in your head, as many men tend to assume. I had a client, 42 years old, who came to me certain that work stress was the reason he was struggling with intimacy. When I asked him about his morning erections, he paused and said, "Actually, I have not had one in a few months." That single piece of information shifted our entire approach. After further testing, we discovered he had an underlying cardiovascular issue he was completely unaware of. Do not ignore this signal. If your morning erections disappear consistently over a period of weeks, please see a healthcare provider. Your body is speaking to you. Listen to it. Number 2, train your pelvic floor muscles because yes, men absolutely need to do this too. Most people associate pelvic floor exercises with women, but I am here to tell you that these muscles are just as critical for men, and training them can produce truly remarkable results. Your pelvic floor muscles serve 3 essential functions. They assist in urinary control. They actively pump blood into the penis during an erection by contracting and compressing the surrounding tissue, and they regulate ejaculation. When these muscles become weak or underconditioned, the effects show up as softer erections, reduced ejaculatory control, and significantly weaker orgasms. A landmark British study found that 40% of men who committed to a structured pelvic floor exercise program for 6 months completely resolved their erectile dysfunction. Not improved it, resolved it. Without any medication, without any injections, purely through targeted exercise. I had a client, 38 years old, who was losing firmness during sex, despite having perfectly normal testosterone levels and healthy blood flow. After 6 weeks of consistent pelvic floor training, he returned and described it as a complete transformation. His erections were significantly firmer, they lasted much longer, and he felt a level of control he had never experienced before. Here is how you locate and train these muscles. The next time you are urinating, briefly try to stop the flow midstream. Do not make a habit of this because it is not good for your bladder, but do it once just to identify the sensation. You will feel a lifting and tightening in the perineal area. Those are your pelvic floor muscles. Once you know how to find them, you can exercise them anywhere without anyone knowing. Contract those muscles, hold the contraction for 5 seconds, then fully release and relax for 10 to 15 seconds. That is 1 complete repetition. Aim for 10 repetitions 3 times per day. You can do this at your desk, in your car, watching television. Commit to at least 4 to 6 weeks before evaluating your results. I promise you this works. Number 3, pay serious attention to your waistline because excess belly fat functions like an estrogen factory inside your body. This is something that surprises a lot of men when they hear it for the first time. Belly fat is not just inert tissue sitting there. It actively produces an enzyme called aromatase. And what aromatase does is take your testosterone and convert it directly into estrogen. The more excess fat you carry around your midsection, the more testosterone your body is converting into the female sex hormone. Research consistently shows that for every single point increase in BMI, testosterone levels fall by approximately 2%. If a man is 30 points above his healthy weight, he could be dealing with a testosterone reduction of 15 to 20%. And low testosterone is a direct and well-established cause of erectile dysfunction. But that is only part of the problem. Excess belly fat also drives chronic systemic inflammation, which progressively damages blood vessels throughout the entire body, including the tiny, delicate blood vessels inside the penis that are absolutely essential for achieving and sustaining an erection. I worked with a client who weighed 260 pounds and came to me experiencing significant erectile difficulties. I told him that before we explored any therapeutic or medical interventions, I needed him to focus on losing approximately 30 pounds. He was frustrated by that answer, to put it mildly. But 6 months later, he came back having lost that weight, and he told me he did not need any further help. Everything had returned to normal on its own. His testosterone levels had increased by over 150 points, purely from the weight loss. Here is what I want you to do today. Take a measuring tape and measure your waist right at the belly button. If your measurement is over 40 inches, you are in a high-risk zone for erectile dysfunction. If it is over 37 inches, you are already in a danger zone. Make it your goal to work toward getting that measurement under 35 inches. Your sexual health depends on it. Number 4, get your hormone levels tested, because if you are over 30 and you do not know your testosterone number, you are essentially flying blind. Testosterone levels in men have been declining steadily for decades. Studies show that average testosterone levels have dropped by approximately 20% since the 1980s. The average 30-year-old man today has the testosterone of a 50-year-old man from a generation ago. That is not a small shift. That is a dramatic physiological change affecting men across the board. Low testosterone does not only reduce your sex drive, it directly impairs erectile function, even when desire is still present. The reason is that testosterone is required for the production of nitric oxide in the blood vessel walls. And nitric oxide is the chemical signal that tells those vessels to relax and expand so that blood can flow into the erectile tissue and create an erection. Without adequate testosterone, that entire process is compromised. I see this pattern constantly in my work. Men in their 30s and 40s come in experiencing erectile difficulties and exhaustion. Their testosterone is tested and comes back at around 300 nanograms per deciliter. Technically, this falls within the so-called normal range of 300 to 1,000. But for a man in his 30s, 300 is the absolute floor. He should ideally be sitting between 600 and 800. Normal on a lab report does not always mean optimal for your body and your life. Get tested, and get tested in the morning when testosterone levels are naturally at their highest. If your results come back low and you are experiencing symptoms, work closely with a qualified physician or men's health specialist to figure out the right path forward for your specific situation. Number 5. Be intentional about sitting and cycling habits, because you may be compressing the very nerves and arteries that supply your penis. When you sit for extended periods, particularly on firm surfaces, you place direct pressure on the perineum, which is the area of tissue located between your scrotum and your anus. Running directly through this region are the pudendal nerve and the pudendal artery, which together control sensation and blood flow to the penis. Multiple peer-reviewed studies on male cyclists have demonstrated that men who ride for more than 3 hours per week experience significantly higher rates of erectile dysfunction and genital numbness compared to men who engage in other forms of exercise, such as running or swimming. And this is a dose-dependent relationship. The more hours you spend in the saddle, the greater your risk. I had a client who was training intensively for a triathlon and cycling 10 to 12 hours per week. He began noticing a progressive loss of sensation during sexual activity, followed by increasing difficulty maintaining his erections. The culprit turned out to be pudendal nerve compression caused by prolonged cycling. He had to step away from cycling entirely for 6 weeks and transition to running and swimming instead. Over the course of 3 months, his sensation returned and his erections normalized. He does still cycle today, but with a properly cushioned seat, padded shorts designed to reduce perineal compression, and a limit of no more than 5 to 6 hours per week. If you sit at a desk all day, set a timer for every 45 minutes and get up to walk around for 5 to 10 minutes. Keep the blood moving. If you are a cyclist, invest in the right equipment and consider cross-training with other forms of cardio. Number 6, protect and prioritize your sleep, because the majority of your daily testosterone production happens while you are asleep. Men who consistently sleep fewer than 5 hours per night have testosterone levels that are 10 to 15% lower than men who get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. But beyond sleep duration, there is an even more significant and widely overlooked threat: obstructive sleep apnea. This is a condition in which the airway collapses repeatedly during sleep, causing you to stop breathing for anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds at a time before your body jolts you partially awake to resume breathing. This cycle can happen dozens or even hundreds of times per night, often without the person ever being consciously aware of it. Each episode causes a drop in blood oxygen, triggers a surge of cortisol and stress hormones, and inflicts ongoing damage to the blood vessels and cardiovascular system. Over time, this relentlessly destroys your capacity to produce testosterone and to achieve healthy erections. Research published in peer-reviewed journals found that 69% of men diagnosed with obstructive sleep apnea also have erectile dysfunction. Nearly 7 out of 10. That is an extraordinary overlap that most men, and even many healthcare providers, are not aware of. If your partner tells you that you snore loudly, or if you frequently wake up gasping, choking, or feeling completely unrefreshed despite a full night in bed, please seek a formal sleep evaluation. A sleep study is non-invasive, and addressing sleep apnea through appropriate treatment can produce rapid and dramatic improvements in testosterone levels, energy, mood, and erectile function. Do not underestimate how foundational sleep is to every aspect of your sexual and overall health. Number 7, take care of your oral health. Because gum disease and erectile dysfunction are far more connected than most people realize. This is the one that tends to shock people the most, and I completely understand that reaction. But the science here is very clear and very well established. Men who have chronic gum disease, also called periodontitis, are 3.3 times more likely to experience erectile dysfunction than men with healthy gums. Not slightly more likely, more than 3 times as likely. Here is the mechanism behind that connection. Periodontal disease creates a state of chronic systemic inflammation throughout the entire body. When your gums are infected and inflamed, your immune system continuously releases inflammatory markers into the bloodstream. These inflammatory compounds travel throughout the body and progressively damage the endothelium, which is the delicate inner lining of blood vessels, including the microscopic blood vessels inside the penis that are directly responsible for your erection. On top of that, the bacteria living in infected gum tissue can enter the bloodstream during something as routine as brushing or flossing. And once in circulation, those bacteria can directly damage blood vessel walls. This is the exact same biological pathway that links gum disease to heart disease and stroke. Men with periodontitis face a 50% higher risk of heart attack compared to men with healthy gums. Your mouth is not isolated from the rest of your body. It is a gateway. So please, brush your teeth thoroughly twice every day. Floss after every meal. See your dentist at minimum every 6 months for professional cleaning and examination. If you are already noticing symptoms of gum disease, which include bleeding when you brush, red or swollen gum tissue, persistent bad breath, or gum recession, do not wait. Get treated immediately. This is not just about your smile. It is about your heart and your sexual health. Number 8, know your key health numbers, because your penis is one of the earliest warning systems your body has for cardiovascular disease. Here is a fact that I think every man over the age of 30 should know. The blood vessels inside the penis are extremely small, measuring only about 1 to 2 millimeters in diameter. The coronary arteries in your heart are larger, typically 3 to 4 millimeters across. When cardiovascular disease begins to develop and plaque starts building up inside arteries, it is the smallest blood vessels that get clogged and narrowed first, which means that erectile dysfunction frequently precedes a heart attack by 3 to 5 years. Your penis is giving you a warning that your heart is in trouble, long before your heart makes it obvious. Research has shown that 75% of men who have had a heart attack had experienced erectile dysfunction in the years leading up to it. With that in mind, there are 3 sets of numbers you absolutely must know. First, your blood pressure. It should consistently be under 120/80. If you are regularly above 140/90, you have hypertension, and it is actively damaging your blood vessels right now. Second, your cholesterol panel. Your LDL, which is the harmful cholesterol, should ideally be below 100. Your HDL, the protective cholesterol, should be above 40. Your triglycerides should be below 150. Elevated LDL deposits plaque along artery walls, progressively narrowing the passages through which blood must flow. Third, your blood sugar. Your fasting glucose should be under 100 milligrams per deciliter. A reading between 100 and 125 indicates pre-diabetes. Above 126 is diagnostic for diabetes. High blood sugar is profoundly damaging to both blood vessels and nerves, and studies show that 50 to 60% of men with diabetes experience erectile dysfunction. Get these numbers checked. Schedule a visit with your doctor. This is non-negotiable. Number 9. Choose your underwear thoughtfully because your testicles are temperature sensitive for a very specific and important reason. Your testicles are located outside your body cavity because they need to be maintained at a temperature that is 2 to 4 degrees Celsius cooler than your core body temperature in order to produce sperm and support healthy testosterone levels. When you consistently wear very tight underwear, particularly garments made from synthetic materials, you are pressing your testicles firmly against your body and trapping heat in that region throughout the day. A study conducted at Harvard University found that men who wore loose-fitting boxer shorts had sperm concentrations 25% higher than men who wore tight briefs. While the direct effect of heat on testosterone levels is more gradual and less dramatic than the effect on sperm production, chronic heat exposure to the testes over an extended period of time can affect the Leydig cells that manufacture testosterone. The cumulative effect over months and years is worth taking seriously. My recommendations are straightforward. Switch to breathable, loose-fitting cotton boxers. Stop keeping your smartphone in your front trouser pocket because the heat output from a phone pressed against your body for hours each day adds up. And if you frequently use a laptop computer, place it on a desk or table rather than on your lap. The heat generated by laptop hardware is significant and can suppress sperm production over time. These are simple adjustments that cost you nothing, but can protect your fertility and hormonal health in meaningful ways. Number 10. Be intelligent about supplements, because some products marketed for sexual enhancement are genuinely dangerous and potentially deadly. In my years working with men on their sexual health, I have encountered far too many who have taken so-called male enhancement supplements, purchased from gas stations, convenience stores, or unverified online retailers, without having any idea what they were actually putting into their bodies. You know the types of products I am referring to. They have flashy packaging, provocative names, and make extraordinary promises about instant erections, increased size, and all-night performance. Let me be completely direct with you about this. Many of these products are both dangerous and illegal. The United States Food and Drug Administration has issued well over 100 formal warnings and advisories about these supplements, after laboratory testing revealed that they contain hidden pharmaceutical compounds, essentially unlabeled sildenafil or tadalafil, which are the active ingredients in prescription erectile dysfunction medications, sometimes at doses that far exceed what is considered medically safe. If you are taking blood pressure medications, nitrates for a heart condition, or a range of other common prescriptions, combining them with these undisclosed compounds can cause a catastrophic drop in blood pressure and can be fatal. If you genuinely need support with erectile dysfunction, please speak with a qualified healthcare provider. There are FDA-approved medications with extensive safety records that are highly effective for the right candidates. There are also evidence-based supplements worth discussing with your doctor. L-citrulline and L-arginine are amino acids that serve as precursors to nitric oxide and have been shown to support healthy blood flow. Zinc and vitamin D play important roles in testosterone synthesis, particularly if you are deficient. Panax ginseng has been studied in multiple clinical trials and shows credible evidence of benefit for erectile function. These are legitimate options worth exploring with a professional. Do not gamble your health and your life on mystery pills for the sake of avoiding an honest conversation with a doctor. You deserve real answers and real solutions. And that brings us to the end of today's video. I want to take a moment to remind you of something important before you go. Everything I shared with you today, from tracking your morning erections, to training your pelvic floor, to managing your weight, to getting your hormones and cardiovascular numbers checked, to protecting your sleep, caring for your gums, choosing the right underwear, and being smart about supplements, all of it is actionable. All of it is within your reach. Sexual health is not a luxury. It is a core part of your physical and emotional well-being, and it deserves the same attention and seriousness that you give to any other aspect of your health. I am Dr. Julia Rhodes, a men's sex therapist with over a decade of experience working with different couples and helping men regain their sexual health and strength back. And I created this channel specifically for men like you, men who are done suffering in silence and are ready to stop guessing and start getting real, honest, evidence-based answers. You deserve to feel strong, confident, and fully alive in your body at every stage of your life, and that is exactly what this community is here to help you achieve. If this video gave you value, please hit the like button right now, because it helps more men find this content when they need it most. Share this video with a husband, a brother, a friend, or any man in your life who needs to hear this. And if you have not already subscribed, do it right now and turn on your notifications so you never miss a new video from this channel. Your health is your greatest asset. Guard it fiercely. I will see you in the next one.